everyone, and welcome you back to our webinar series. My name is Victoria Scholtes, and this is hosted by the Scholtes Institute. And I'm very excited for today because we've got Mahmoud with us, who has a really huge experience in payments, and he's going to share all of that with us today, as much as he can. Of course, our time is limited, but that he's got a lot of experience around different issues in payments and banking, and that's why he is the best person to go to when it comes to understanding payments a bit better. So today we are going to talk about Payments 101, what we need to know about payments, and we have a lot of different topics. Well, we collected some questions from the audience as we do usually before the webinar. So we have a nice skeleton for the conversation. We are going through all of them one by one, but the topics will include a lot of different aspects of payments, why payments are so expensive, what are the regulations around it, and what are the alternative payment methods we have other than cards. So I'm super excited. Thank you very much for joining us, Mahmoud. Please tell us a bit more information about you and how did you end up in payments?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, payments is the hot topic, Victoria, everywhere now. Yeah, it becomes part of our daily life, and everyone now is involved in the payments, either directly or indirectly. So yeah, I'm Mahmoud Ismail. I'm the Chief of Staff and the Head of Acquiring and Payments for Adyen in the MEA region. 20 years in the payments industry. As of today, ended up in payments in 2011, where I got a task from my leadership team that time in Egypt to build the first classifieds portal, which includes also a payment channel for the classifieds. That was the entry into the field and to be directly involved in payments. And then I joined an e-wallet company, then joined the largest acquirer in UAE, which is Network International. Then, yeah, with the entry of Adyen in the region, I was lucky to be part of the founding team on ground. Yeah, and this is where we are today.
Nice. I'm really looking forward to tap into that knowledge that you have around payments. So let's start in immediately. Let's jump in. So tell us, okay, we see a lot of different flow charts and explanations about how does a typical card transaction flow look like from start to finish. But please tell us, because I think it's still a bit unsure for many of us, that what is the purpose of the acquirer? What is the purpose of the gateway? Is the acquirer the gateway itself? Who are the card schemes in the middle? And why does he have to go through so many layers, which are so many opportunities for failure?
Yeah, let's first define the ecosystem players, as you rightly pointed. So the card network, which is known to anyone, like Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and many other card networks, and there are others as well in different regions. And then it comes the issuer, who's issuing the card for the card holder or for the end consumer, whether it's an individual or a company. It can be also a corporate card or a consumer card. Then there is the acquirer, who's linking the whole ecosystem together, which is us in many regions. So Adyen is operating globally in more than 65 markets as an acquirer, and also expanding to other areas like as a bank and as an embedded finance provider in other markets. But here, the focus on UAE, we are providing acquiring services, which is mainly linking or connecting the dots between for the journey of the transaction among the card holder, the issuer who issued the card, and as well as the card network, which is Visa, MasterCard, or other card network. So simply, the role of the acquirer is to make sure that the transaction which is being sent to the issuer is following the local rules, regulations, is following the scheme rules, which scheme is the card network, Visa and MasterCard. It's an industry terminology. So yeah, this is the role of the acquirer in between. Plus, the acquirer is definitely the main point of contact for the merchant, which is enabling the card holders or the consumers to buy from this merchant using the card, whether it's in-person payment on the POS machine, the point of sale, or through online, the mobile payments, mobile SDK or mobile application, or the website. These are the parties of the ecosystem which are helping the merchant to serve the consumers, okay, to accept payments. Now we go to your initial question about how a typical card transaction would flow. Definitely a typical card transaction unfolds swiftly and securely in several key steps. So it begins with the consumer initiating the transaction, which means I'm visiting a store or I'm visiting a website and buying something. So I'm initiating the payment from my side through this payment gateway, which securely captures the details of my card, which we call a PCI environment, which we will also define later. But it captures the card details, sending the transaction to the issuer who issued the card, which connects with the card network. And definitely the transaction goes all the way back to the acquirer and to the merchant, confirming the transaction is successful, so the product or the service can be released.
Right. What are the different other players? I don't know, the gateway, because a lot of people, when they open a merchant account, they hear that there's a gateway in the middle. Also, how these card schemes are getting involved in the whole process. What are their responsibility? Can you tell us a bit more? Because I think these details are super interesting.
Yeah, of course. Definitely. The card network, it acts as the switch forwarding the request to the issuing bank. So which is the customer's bank, and the issuing bank verifies the cardholder's identity, verifies the cardholder has the right or sufficient funds available for this credit transaction, and approves or declines the transaction. After this, the authorization response travels back through the card network to the acquirer and finally to the merchants, whether it's the point of sale or the payment gateway, informing them whether the transaction is complete and the sales process is approved. So if approved, the merchant fulfills the order. Subsequently, the acquirer will initiate the clearing and settlement, which we will explain in a later stage, where the funds are transferred from the issuing bank to the acquirer, and then the acquirer will credit the funds to the merchant.
Clear. All right. And when we are talking about card payments, I think everybody knows how to use card payments because majority of use the card payments, but there are some other alternative payment methods as well, what we call alternative to the cards, but they are very popular in other parts of the world. So can you tell us that what are the main types of payment methods and what are their pros and cons? I mean, obviously, we don't have the full year to talk about it because this is such an extensive topic. But what are the main ones that you think that we need to really highlight here?
Yeah, let's go through this, navigate through the question in a quick way. So the payment landscape is diverse, 100%. Let's be generic at the beginning, then we can narrow the scope to the local market of the UAE. So it's offering various methods to cater to different needs and preferences of the consumers and the merchants as well. So definitely what's known to everyone, the credit cards, which is almost with every person in the country. So it directly offers convenience and often rewards program. This is what attracts consumers or card holders to obtain credit cards because of the loyalty or rewards programs linked to it. However, they can come with higher merchant fees on the merchant side and the risk of chargebacks and disputes. That's just a very quick pros and cons, but its credit means the money doesn't exist, so it's within the limit allowed for the cardholder to spend. The other type is debit cards, which are directly linked to the bank account of the consumer, so it's connected to real money. The money exists already, offering a sense of spending within limits, which are the limits of available in the bank account indeed. They typically have lower merchant fees, and this is currently regulated as well, as the interchange of the debit cards is something regulated in the UAE than credit cards, but may have daily spending limits from the issuer side. And 100% it comes to the digital wallets, which is highly trending, not in UAE only, this globally, which is Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay, enhancing security through tokenization and offers streamlined checkout experience as well. because the adoption rate vary and they rely on underlying funding sources like card or bank accounts also can be linked to it, but it triggers a lot of attraction for the convenience and easy to use it. The very traditional way, bank transfers, is the other option, which is just direct debit from the bank account. So definitely suitable for large transactions. It's more convenient for the corporate or business to business, we call B2B, and recurring payments as well, often with lower fees, 100%. However, they can be slower than card payments and may carry a higher risk of insufficient funds as well. But the fee of the transaction or the cost of the transaction is lower. And for the individuals or the consumers, it's not that attractive because it's spending from their real money. Plus, there are no rewards programs linked to it. The other option, which is, it has increased in terms of usage a lot in our region in general, the MEA region, which is buy now, pay later. The BNPL model offers flexibility for consumers to spread out payments. Merchant may incur fees, but there are potential risks associated with consumer debt. It should be managed by the BNPL provider anyway. And the last one is the king. Cash is the king, or was the king, because now the adoption of digital payments is increasing massively, which is adopted and also secured in the UAE by the regulations, which are boosting the usage of the digital payments. And definitely when we talk about the UAE, we are talking about the most innovative market when it comes to the payments landscape in the region. So this is just a summary of the payment methods which are being used globally and in the region as well.
What do you think? What's the most popular in the region? Because, for example, in Europe, not that many people have credit cards. We do have debit cards, but when we need to rent a car, we sometimes encounter a problem because credit cards are most popular in North American region mostly. What do you think in the region out of that? I mean, I understand that the cash is still the king there, but all of these digital ways of payment, what is the most popular? Where do you see that the future is going to be when it comes to these payment methods?
Yes, definitely. It depends, by the way, industry by industry. So in some industries like the lodging and hotels or hospitality, you will find higher usage of the debit cards, while in the dine-in and other verticals like entertainment, you will find a higher usage of credit cards. And again, we will go back to the point of rewards and the reward programs linked to it. So it's a bit balanced here in the region, the usage between credit and debit cards. But definitely the future is going into, if we call it the crypto payments, blockchain payments, which is still happening slowly in the region. But definitely this is the trend now globally. And I think that UAE was super proactive on this, having the regulator VARA, which is already established to regulate the payments through the digital assets and the crypto and blockchain.